You stopped paying attention to politics because nothing ever changed. A politician would say one thing, do another. Get re-elected, say something else, do another thing. And somewhere in that cycle, you made a rational decision. This is not worth my time. These people are not worth my trust. I am not here to tell you that you were wrong. I'm here to show you something specific that happened yesterday. Something that confirms exactly what you suspected. And something that goes one layer deeper than what you already know. Because here is what the cynics never get told. You are not just right about the politicians. You are right about the game. And the game has a name. But before we get to the Senate, let me take you back to a promise. Not a Senate promise, a campaign promise made repeatedly to the voters who trusted it most. Military families, working class communities, people who buried someone from Iraq or Afghanistan and never got a satisfying answer about why. These are real people. Donald Trump told those voters something no Republican had said out loud in decades. No more endless wars. We are not the world's police force. We will stop sending your children to die in conflict with no objective and no exit. Those voters believed him. Many of them came back to the political process specifically because of that promise. On February 28, 2026, with no congressional vote, no declaration of war, no defined objective, and no exit strategy, the United States launched a massive military assault on Iran. The very definition of the endless war he promised to end. The voters who trusted that promise the most are the same voters now watching gas prices climb and reading about the American service members coming home in flag-draped coffins. Same party, same game, different promise, same results. Yesterday, Senator John Cornyn of Texas wrote an op-ed in the New York Post. In it, he announced that he now supports eliminating or significantly weakening the Senate filibuster to pass a bill called the Save America Act. You may not know what the filibuster is. Here's all you need to know. The filibuster is a Senate rule that says before you change something that affects every American's vote, you need both parties to agree. Not a simple majority, 60 votes. Which means the party in power cannot unilaterally rewrite election rules while the other party watches helplessly. That rule has protected every American voter, regardless of party, for decades. Cornyn spent years defending that rule, loudly, publicly. On the Senate floor in 2022, he said, and these are his exact words, that eliminating the filibuster would be like taking a wrecking ball to the United States Senate. Yesterday, he said he supports doing exactly that. When asked why he changed his mind, he told reporters, and again these are his exact words, hopefully the president likes what he sees. He did not say the rule was wrong. He did not say the Constitution required it. He said he hoped the president would like what he sees. That is not a principle. That is a transaction. Now here's where it stops being about one senator. In 2016, Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia died. President Obama nominated Merrick Garland to fill the seat. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell refused to hold a single hearing. For nearly 10 months, his stated principle was clear. An election year Supreme Court vacancy should be decided by the American people through the upcoming election, not by the sitting president. The people should choose. He called it a principle. He named it. He defended it. 4 years later, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. 6 weeks before the 2020 presidential election, McConnell moved within hours to fill the seat. Same situation, election year. Vacant Supreme Court seat, different outcome. When asked about the contradiction, McConnell did not apologize. He explained, Republicans control the Senate, in both cases. That was the difference. The principle was never the principle was the outcome. McConnell changed the rules on your Supreme Court when it suited his party. Cornyn is changing the rules on your vote when it suits his party. Same party, same game, different rules, same reason. And here's the question I want you to sit with. If the rules that are supposed to protect your voice, your Supreme Court pick, your vote only exist until they become inconvenient for the people in power, who were those rules actually protecting? Here is what your civic class never taught you. The filibuster is not the Constitution, neither is the norm McConnell invented in 2016. These are Senate rules, institutional customs, what lawyers and historians call norms. The Constitution was written by people who did not trust politicians. That is not an interpretation. That is a historical fact. James Madison wrote explicitly that the entire system was designed assuming that people in power would always try to expand that power at everyone else's expense. The separation of powers, the checks and balances, the requirements that both chambers agree, all of it was built on one assumption. Left unchecked, power concentrates, always, without exception. The Senate rules were the immune system around the Constitution, not the Constitution itself. The informal layer of protection that kept the formal document from being used as a manual for consolidating power. When those norms collapse, and they are collapsing, the Constitution does not automatically protect you. The document assumes the norms are functioning. Remove the norms and what remains is a set of procedures that a determined majority can use to entrench itself permanently. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a constitutional architecture. And it is what you are watching happen in real time. So here's what I want to leave you with. And it is not a call to vote. It is not a call to call your senator. You came into this video with the defense mechanisms that most politically disengaged people carry. Career politicians lie. That is what they do. What did you expect? That defense mechanism has one exit that this episode closed. Trump was not supposed to be a career politician. That was the entire argument. The outsider, the deal maker, the one who would break the game instead of playing it. He played it. Which means the problem was never the politicians. The problem is a system that produces the same behavior regardless of who enters it. Good intentions do not survive unchecked power. The founders knew this. It is why they built the rules in the first place. And it is why removing those rules, one norm at a time, one convenient reversal at a time, is the most dangerous game being played in American politics today. Not because of who is playing it, because of who will play it next, with no rules left to stop them. The people running this game depend on your disengagement. Not because your vote threatens them, because your understanding does. A person who can name the pattern, who can sit across from someone defending this and say, I have seen this before, and here is exactly how it works, that person cannot be managed by the same trick twice. You came into this video cynical. You should leave it something different. Not hopeful, not re-engaged, not inspired, informed. Because the only thing that has ever actually threatened people who change the rules to stay in power is a room full of people who already know the rules they changed. And why? This is the third voice. I will see you in the next one.